Hi, everybody. Long time no see. I've taken a little break from these Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern lives. I've had some good news. I went through, I did a public speaking tour in some places in Ontario in July, and I wasn't making enough money from that to keep going. So I had to come home to New Brunswick, where I live, and in Canada. And I've had a real breakthrough. For one, that trip was such. I love traveling. I bicycled across Canada when I was 20, and I got schizophrenia shortly after, at the age of 22. And I've stayed mostly in New Brunswick through the last 30 years or so. And as much as I love it here, I've had a real desire to travel, and I just wasn't able to get that. I was too sick to do that for many years. Not that I couldn't have, it just didn't work out that way. Anyway, to go on my own in my car to Ontario, 10, 12 hours away or so, and on my own traveling and speaking, putting on events. I had such a great time. That was the most fun I'd had, the most sense of adventure and thrill that I'd had since biking across Canada at the age of 20, about 30 years ago. So I really am so thankful for all the people who donated to let me be able to do that, even though it was a brief trip, about 4 weeks or so, 4 weeks. It meant so much to me. It really did. And while I was out there, that's where I got the idea of doing lives like this. So to uh, help spread my messages more. So I've started doing these, and I'm really enjoying them. And I just want to say thanks for everyone who watches and whatnot. So what happened since then? It was August 20th, the Saturday of 2022, this year, after I got back from Ontario. And I really felt it. I made a post about this on Facebook. It was such. I felt like the analogy I gave was, and I'd been waiting for this moment for years. I'd had this analogy inside me for years, and it literally felt like I'd been swimming across shark-infested waters, oceans of waters, for 30 years. And then finally one day I climbed up onto the shore, crawled up onto the shore, gasping for breath, and out of the water, out of danger. It was that was August 20th, August 21st, August 22nd, a weekend here, and 2022, and it meant so much to me. I'd been waiting for that for so long. And what happened after that, I hadn't made a post about this yet, but August 28th, shortly after, about a week after, I was in a good mood. I've got schizophrenia, for those who don't know. I've had it for 30 years. And August 28th, I was in a good mood, and it lasted all day. Just a good mood, light, upbeat, positive. Things were easy breezy. I mean, not that my life is perfect now. It's just I got back to my normal range of easy breezy and being in a good mood that I had the first 17, 18 years of my life or so before I got schizophrenia. And it just stayed with me, this easy breezy, light, buoyant, jokey feeling. And it's such a treat to get that. I didn't know if I'd ever get this. I wasn't guaranteed full recovery when I got schizophrenia. I and now after 30 years or so, I've gotten it. I just feel good. I'm more productive. I can plan things more. With schizophrenia, it's hard to organize yourself. Time, your sense of time is really it's hard to plan things out. In some ways you can, in some ways you still plan things out, but I didn't know, there's just a chaos involved. I didn't know how I would be from in 5 minutes or the next 5 minutes or the next 5 minutes. I didn't know what I would be capable of. Life became a real tightrope walk where you can't plan further down the tightrope because you're focused on the moment and that's all you can focus on. You may have some sort of game plan for further down the road, but you're just so focused on the moment. What am I going to do? What am I going to do for the next few minutes? How can I occupy my time? How am I going to get through the next few minutes? And now it's just easier because I get to know what to expect. Oh, this will be my mood tomorrow and the next day and next week and next month. And it's such a treat. So For those of you fighting with mental illness or schizophrenia, or maybe other things not mental health related, please just keep fighting, keep hanging in there because you don't know what tomorrow may bring. You just don't know. We have no idea what medical advancements are coming down the tubes for us. So please keep hanging in there. As I've got as I've got more energy and more confidence in my speaking, which these lives have been helping me with on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, I'm I'm getting more confident and just and getting more productive. So Phil Palucha, he's Billionaires and Boxers. That's his platform. I found him on LinkedIn, and he recommends 3 podcast host host guest matching platforms. If you're a podcast host looking for guests, or if you want to get on podcasts, you can use these 3 platforms to find hosts, and they are podbooker.com, podmatch.com, and matchmaker.fm. And I've been using them, and some podcast hosts are reaching out to me saying, can you be on my podcast? I'm also reaching out to other podcast hosts to see if they want me to be on their show. And he recommends them. I'm having some success with them. He says some podcasts are bigger than others, but yeah. So I've got some over the next 2 or 3 weeks or so into October. I've got some podcasts lined up, and I'm looking forward to those. I'm on my local TV channel here in New Brunswick, Southern New Brunswick, CHCO TV. They'll be interviewing me soon about mental health. I'm not exactly sure when it will be aired, but relatively soon. And I've also reached out to some people asking if they want to interview me on a Facebook Live. And I'm open, or it could be other things like Instagram or whatever on their social media channels. I'm open to being interviewed. I'd like to get my messages out there more. I talk about 3 things: schizophrenia, my experience with it, because I think more people need to know about it. It's a lot of people just don't know much about it. And I also talk about number 2, mental health tips for anybody, things I've learned from the hundreds of books I've read on how to get myself better. And the other thing I talk about is mental health in developing countries, and through my mindaid.ca platform. So yeah, I've got an idea for fundraising. I'd like to raise $1.8 million by the end of this year to help 10,000 women with depression in Africa through Strong Minds, strongminds.org. They help women with depression in Africa, and I'm trying to fundraise for them. And if you go to mindaid.ca under the Join 2022 Challenge button there, you'll see that'll be the link to my 1.8 million fundraiser. I had the idea, someone gave me the idea, Matthew, if you want to raise some money, why don't you get 2 sports teams to duke it out between each other to see who can raise the most money? So I've looked into. I'm in Canada. I'm thinking of Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadian hockey teams. They have online Facebook fan groups. They've got a dozen or more each for each group, and the largest one for each has like 20, 30, 40,000 fans in each. I'm not a member in either of those teams' Facebook groups, and I was told by a mental health podcaster, a sports mental health podcaster, that if I was open, transparent, vulnerable, that they might be that I might have a good chance of them doing that for me, of raising money to see how much money they could raise, and so duke it out between each other, kindle the existing rivalry that they've had between the 2 teams for years. I'm trying to figure out how to approach your groups. I think it may not work out, and if they're not interested, I can't do anything about that. I might move on to other groups, but I'd like to start with those 2. Hockey is so big in Canada, and those 2 groups have such a long-standing rivalry. If anybody here listening is in one of those groups, I know many Canadians are, and other countries too. If they want to help me out with this, that would be so greatly appreciated. Reach out to me. My contact info is at mindaid.ca. My email is info@mindaid.ca. I'm on social media. That would mean the world to me. And also to, I mean, if this went through it. I'm hoping to raise enough money to help 10,000 women with depression in Africa, 10,000 by the end of this year. I mean, that would mean a lot to me, but it would mean the world to them, to the women, their families. When you've got depression, you can't, it's hard to be productive. And that is so important when you're trying to feed your family living in poverty. I'm making this live a little bit shorter tonight. I usually go around 20 or 30 minutes, but I'm leaving a bit early. I've got something at 8:15 tonight. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I'm getting back into these. I've taken a bit of a break, but I feel I've got my head back on my shoulders now. So I've had like I said, I've had a lot of big changes in the last month. So just needed a break for myself for that. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a good night and talk soon.